Welcome to the BEASTwriter Family, where social media engagement is encouraged. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we are going to be breaking down and making sense of the NFL free agents that are remaining. There's been a lot of talk on NFL Network, ESPN, and every big media outlet out there as it pertains to what's going on with Richard Sherman. How come he's not being picked up yet? Richard Sherman obviously wants to go to a contender. I'm not so sure that he has much of a choice based on the options. Peter Moore, thank you so much for joining us here in the BEASTwriter family. As always happy to see you on here, and mahalo to you, and hope you're doing well today, or this morning, I should say. So getting back to Richard Sherman, there was talk today on Good Morning Football about where Richard Sherman's going to land. What's going to happen with Richard Sherman? And Drew Burrows, how are you doing today, my man? Richard Sherman, to me, is well past his prime. I think that's kind of a given at this point. I said it leading up to the Super Bowl. I went on ESPN radio, even stated the facts as to why the Chiefs would attack him, because he can't keep up with those 4-3 burners, 4-4 burners outside and between the 20s. So that being said, he is no longer looked as a boundary cornerback. That's why in today's NFL, the way the rules are dictated, no longer can Richard Sherman hold on to wide receivers off the line of scrimmage for dear life. If you remember the Legion of Boom during the early years, and what made him so successful was he was chucking them even beyond 5 yards. Even before the Mel Blount rule came into play, he was chucking them 5 to 7 yards and consistently getting away with those 2 to 3 extra yards off the line of scrimmage. Not in today's NFL, Richard Sherman. That's why you're seeing all these double moves being made. That's why you're seeing Richard Sherman losing a step, because he just doesn't have the speed or the athleticism to go ahead and make those sound plays. Now, to put it, I always like to say, peel back layers of the onion to get to the core. As I always like to say, let's talk about that core. In the boundary cornerback position, whether it's a cover 2 or a cover 3 scheme or a cover 1 single high scheme, it doesn't matter. You have to play your respective deep half, deep thirds, quarters coverage of the field. What happens if you're transitioning to a safety role like Nate Burleson suggested today on NFL Network? You have to cover more ground. And yeah, he's smart enough to leverage his splits how he sees fit, but ultimately, I don't think he has the speed or the range to make up that speed. He actually compared him to Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson was a different breed. He had more athletic, God-given ability than Richard Sherman coming out. If you guys remember, Richard Sherman was not the speed demon. He doesn't have the speed to cover that type of range. So if he can't cover the boundary cornerback position, just covering that side of the field with an extra defender being the sideline as the extra defender, what makes you think he can cover more ground and being the last line of defense? It just doesn't make sense. And that's why I don't think it's going to make sense for him to be switched over to safety. And now he's saying he's looking for the right opportunity to play for a contender, and he wants to be in a competitive team, wants to be a Super Bowl winning team. Well, aren't the Niners contenders? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Claudia Billock from the BEASTwriter Family says, Mahalo, BEASTwriter. Mahalo to you. How are you guys doing? I know you guys are wondering, dang, you look so different, BEASTwriter, without your beanie or without your hat on, and your head's super shiny. I'm waiting for those comments to come through. Peter Moore says, what is your opinion on Sherman as if he was to move to safety? Yeah, so I just went ahead and broke it down, my man. I don't think that it's a good fit. Now watch Richard Sherman come on and have one heck of a game or one heck of a season at free safety. He's like, oh yeah, BEASTwriter, you were wrong. For those who don't know, Richard Sherman actually blocked me years ago when he was on the Seattle Seahawks. So I was calling out his plays. I said, hey, man, this is what I don't like about Richard Sherman's game. He didn't like it. He blocked me. So there's that. Hakeem Gaming Video, how are you doing today? Here in the BEASTwriter Family, let's get to your comments. My man, Tommy Huxley, says, Mullins to the Eagles. Yes, Nick Mullins, if you guys don't know, was signed by the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's going to be good for Nick Sirianni's offense. Obviously, Doug Peterson's no longer there, but Nick Sirianni is there. And I like the sign of Nick Mullins. I know some of you guys are kind of bearish on Nick Mullins. Some of you guys are still bullish on Nick Mullins. Nick Mullins' grandfather actually follows me. But with that being said, I like Nick Mullins. How can you not like Nick Mullins? You know, he put up all these great passing stat lines in his first, 10 games, 10, 12 NFL games, or whatever the case may be, whatever that time span was. I can't remember the number, but he was up there. And yeah, the knock on him is, whoa, didn't you see that linebacker in underneath coverage? Like, why would you make that throw? That's something that needs to be cleaned up, I will have to admit. But I like Nick Mullins as a backup. I don't know. I like Nick Mullins. Peter Moore says, thanks for the opinion, Beast. I appreciate it, Peter Moore. Thank you so much. Tommy Huxley says, you have a beautifully shaped head, my man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'd like to think so myself. And the one thing about having a shaved head is it's really low maintenance. And I'm a low maintenance guy. I wake up in the morning. As you can see, I just put on a shirt, put on some shorts. So if you see me about, I'm never in jeans, hardly ever in jeans, hardly ever in like GQ-ish type of it. That's just not my theme. Like I will stroll into Levi Stadium with, well, I guess I'd wear jeans. I'd wear black jeans, obviously, or some type of jeans, designer jeans, whatever the case may be. And then have kind of like a casual, dressy kind of a top, low key, hardly ever in a tie, suit and tie. It's just not my style. I need to move around. I need to feel alive. And yeah. R.A. Pontus says, bang, bang, bro. What's going on? My man, Tony Nagatani from the BEASTwriter family says, Beast, is there any chance that Nick Mullins' arm got tightened with this surgery? I remember I remember they tightened Elway's arm through surgery towards the end of his career. Great point. And anytime you have arm surgery, shoulder surgery, whatever the case may be, yes, that is definitely going to play a role. Now, it is buyer beware because at the end of the day, you don't know what kind of guy you're getting in Nick Mullins coming off that surgery. So that's why maybe he wasn't signed right away, because there's a lot of teams looking at the medical and saying, hey, look, based on players like in the past, like John Elway, as you point out, we're not so sure how this guy is going to bounce back from this injury. Now, everyone is different, but at the end of the day, anytime a guy comes in with red flags, especially a quarterback who has shoulder surgery, arm surgery, whatever the case may be, you're going to have some problems. Elbow surgery, I don't care. All right. Peter Moore says, Nick Mullins is the nicest dude, always picking up and fixing the pylons. That is very true. That is very, very true. David Roy says, Sherman will be working at Walmart by July. Yeah, I mean, that's what I keep saying it. I mean, let's face it. It's almost on the time from now. And we have mandatory minicamp, and then we have training camp. And then after training camp, that's when you kind of set your roster. If you were to roll in a player like Richard Sherman now, what kind of morale does that give the players on the team who have working their butts off all throughout that time and say, look, okay, yeah, now we bring in Richard Sherman. Like the coaches are hyping us up like we're fighting for a camp battle. Obviously, if Richard Sherman comes in, he's going to take my spot if I'm a borderline 53-man going to make that 53-man roster, which is fine. Iron sharpens iron. It happens all the time in the NFL. But it's interesting to point out how he's not on the roster by now. Like if he thinks he's going to command $10 to $12 million a year, well, you're not going to get that, Richard Sherman, because again, you're past your prime. You're past your prime. Just got to say it. Eileen Murphy from Facebook says, nothing finer than the 49ers. Tommy Huxley from the BEASTwriter family here on YouTube says, yeah, my hair is very short, but not shaved all the way like yours. I hate shaving too, hence the beard. Gotcha. I like your beard. Tommy Huxley. If you guys want to join the chat, please do so. This is a Q&A live stream. If you guys have not heard the news yet, we are having Connie Carberg. If you guys don't know who Connie Carberg is, she's the first NFL female scout in NFL history. Yes, we are having the first female NFL scout ever on our show here in 2 hours at 12:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So stay tuned for that. Connie Carberg. If you guys don't know, I put it up on the community page. Again, I like to put up stuff in between posts. So if I'm not posting a live stream, you guys can stay up to date on all things Beast by turning on and flipping on the bell notification. So if you did that, you would have been notified about everything that's coming up, our schedule that we have going on today, what to expect every single day of the week. So today we have Connie Carberg, and I spoke about a little bit, touch base about where we're going to talk about Mark Gaston. Now, if you guys don't know who he is, you guys do know who Michael Strahan is. Michael Strahan broke Mark Gastineau's NFL single-season sack record when he sacked Brett Favre. Now, that sack comes with an asterisk, in my opinion, because Brett Favre literally gave that sack to Michael Strahan. No offense to Michael Strahan, but Mark Gastineau, that was a 17-year standing record for the single-season NFL record of 22 sacks in one season. Mark Gastineau is not just a one-year wonder. He did it 2 years in a row, and he did it actually 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. He's a 5-time All-Pro, 3-time first-team All-Pro, and he led the NFL in sacks in 1983 and 1984, and sacks became an official stat line in 1982. So that's how good Mark Gastineau is. And the person responsible for drafting Mark Gastineau is Connie Carberg. She's going to be hopping on our show, and we have good things to say about her. So stay tuned for that. We have a lot of good things here going on. Tommy Huxley says, Peter, very true. I don't know what Peter said. Let's see here. Fork-tail devil P38J. All our quarterbacks struggled last year because the O-line allowed pressure up the middle way too often. That is very true. JT Collins says Sherman went to Stanford, paralegal to say the least, after football. Yeah, he's not dumb. He's a very bright guy. Very bright guy. And again, you guys know that we had Amika Noli on here from Stanford. Very bright guy. He's doing big things because Stanford has a strong network aside from getting a strong education. So the two work together and you have a career after football. And yeah, anytime you come from the farm, you're not dumb. You're a very bright guy. John Zach says, what up, Beast? Hopefully Niners stay away from Sherman. They can't keep crutching their defense because he's old and slow and can't cover, man. Yes, I agree. I agree. AJC4949 from Twitter says, sup, my guy? What's going on, man? And welcome to the BEASTwriter family. Claudia Billick from the BEASTwriter family says, can we afford Stephon Gilmore on a one-year deal? Everyone's bringing up Stephon Gilmore. I don't see. The answer is, if they wanted to fit him in, I'm sure they can restructure some deals. Obviously, they have to re-sign some of their own. They have to re-sign Fred Warner first. Let's just keep in-house priorities number one priority overall, right? You got to re-sign Fred Warner. You got Nick Bosa coming up the year after that. You got Deebo Samuel coming up. So there's a lot of guys. That's just three off the top of my head. So you got to re-sign those guys first before delving in and signing a guy like Stephon Gilmore, because, again, you really don't want a stopgap player when, again, you already have Jason Verrett, you already have Emmanuel Mosley, and then you already have K'Wan Williams. So where exactly does Stephon Gilmore fit into their plans? I don't think the Niners are going to go after Stephon Gilmore anyways, based on those factors alone. Frankie Morales says, shout out from Niner Faithful, Coachella Valley chapter based in Southern California. Hey, how you doing? And do yourself a favor if you're on Facebook, which you are. Get yourself a YouTube account and subscribe to my channel. You can do so in the banner that I'm about to provide you below, so you guys can stay up to date on all things Beast in real time and also be entered for our Family Friday giveaways. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming in. A lot of comments. Charles from the Carolina Panthers fan base here in the BEASTwriter family says, what's up, Beast? What is going on, Charles? How you doing? He's not going to get any starter money. He would be a good slot corner. You see that we put AJ in the slot. It will be interesting to see how it works out. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And again, I don't know how Richard Sherman's going to do. I don't see him as a boundary cornerback. Now, playing the slot is even harder than playing the boundary because you have to have quick feet. In fact, you have to know where your help is, where that linebackers is. It's a different position than just playing strictly boundary cornerback. If I was to say of the two, I don't think Richard Sherman can stay alive against those faster slot wide receivers. When you go up against the guys like, just look at the draft. All right, you got guys like Elijah Moore, who we're going to talk about at 12:30 p.m. with Connie Carberg from the New York Jets, right? Drafted number 34 overall. Then you get guys like Tutu Atwell, Dwayne Eskridge, Rondale Moore, all within the NFC West. These are guys that cannot help themselves, but look at Richard Sherman and be like, you think you can cover me, bro? You're past your prime. I'm going to beat you on this double move. I'm going to run a choice route. I'm going to a quick slant and bounce back outside. And you don't have the lateral agility anymore to stay up to stride, stay on the hip of me, because I will just out leverage you every time. I don't care how well you know where the player is going to be ran to, because at the end of the day, you can't coach speed, and I have that over you. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. Charles from the Carolina Panthers fan base, you guys have some nice pieces in play right now. I still love DJ Moore. DJ Moore is a top 10 wide receiver in my book. I like DJ Moore a lot. I think Terrace Marshall is going to be a stud. I think Sam Darnold is going to revive his career. We're going to talk about Sam Darnold again here on the BEASTwriter family at 12:30 p.m. with Connie Carberg, the first female NFL scout in the NFL who happened to be a scout for the New York Jets. All right, Alice Nunez says, shout out to the 408 South Bay swag. There you go. Alice Nunez from Facebook in the 408 South Bay. That's where I'm from. Shout out to the 408 here. Eastside San Jose is where it's at. Gavin Upright Cartwright says, Mahalo Beast, did you watch Dark Side of the Ring? I did. Gavin Upright Cartwright, I did watch it. I actually watched it this whole weekend. I got caught up on the Brian Pillman one. The Owen Hart one was interesting. The Ultimate Warrior one was really good. There's some stuff I didn't know about the Ultimate Warrior, how he was. Gosh, I just feel so bad for the guy. Ultimate Warrior, he was known as a jerk, but he got it done. Who was it? Oh, Chris Benoit was the last one I watched. They said that no one worked harder than Chris Benoit. So again, if you guys are talking like, what are you guys talking about? Well, on my live stream, I believe it was on Friday or Saturday. I think it was on Friday. We talked about the dark side of the ring wrestling. Gavin Upright Cartwright brought it to my attention. We were talking about it. He said, check it out. Watch it on Vice. I watched it on Vice, and I was hooked on it. So I really loved that show. And I saw the Jake the Snake. He was on there. A lot of cool, interesting things, and it just brought back good memories. Mick Foley was also on there. Yeah. 49er Lifers 495 says all pro Fred. Yes, all pro Fred from the BEASTwriter Family. Eric Flores from BEASTwriter Family says, will the state of the franchise reveal the new uniforms? Well, that should be the case. Nothing is confirmed yet as far as I know, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it will be. John Zach says, BEASTwriter from the BEASTwriter Family. Who's some of your fantasy football sleepers? I like Sherman, Carter, Harris. Yeah, Trey Sermon is definitely a fantasy football sleeper. Now, it depends if you're playing in the PPR league or a standard league, but ultimately, yes, Trey Sermon's a sleeper. Michael Carter's definitely going to be a sleeper. Definitely my draft crush, Najee Harris. I think he's going to be a top 5 to 10. Nah, I know top 5 is going to be crazy. I would put him in the top 10 running backs coming out this year in fantasy football. Call me crazy, and here's why. It's not just because Najee Harris, because you need a good offensive line in front. The offensive line is not as bad as people make it out to be. Now, they did lose, obviously, Marquise Pouncey. They did lose Alejandro Villanueva. They did lose Matt Filer. So 3/5 of their starting offensive line is already no longer with the team. However, people tend to forget they still have David DeCastro there and Kevin Dotson. That's one of the best 1-2 interior guard combinations in the NFL, period. So again, I cover all 32. I cover fantasy football. Telling you right now, Najee Harris in goal line situations deep down inside the red zone efficiency, you're going to look with the new offensive coordinator, Matt Kenyatta. You're going to see him do a lot of different things. A lot of window shopping with Chase Claypool to spread them out horizontally and then gashing it up the middle with Najee Harris. So Najee Harris is going to have a beastly of a stat line this year. He might be offensive rookie of the year, along with Trey Sermon and Michael Carter. Do not sleep on Michael Carter from the New York Jets. We're going to talk about him again at 10:30 or 12:30 p.m. on our live stream with Connie Carberg. Susan Aubrey Wild says, can Bosa play again? Also, how is Kittle? Both are doing well, and both are going to do extremely well this year. In fact, I fully expect Nick Bosa to bounce back in a big way. Silence the haters. There's a lot of haters here saying, oh, we should trade Nick Bosa for Deshaun Watson. I said, no, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's not do that. And I had Nick Bosa's back, had Deebo Samuel's back. I still have those guys back. Fred Warner, of course. You never trade any one of those players. And the reason why is because they're foundational core pieces of your team. And now, look what happened. They got Trey Lance. They got their future without giving up any of those prized assets. Tony Nagatani from the BEASTwriter Family says, where do you stand on the coverage versus pass rush debate? Which is more impactful and important for building a long-term successful D? I'm going to talk about this with Connie Carberg at 12:30 p.m. Here's my stance on that. I would rather have a better pass rush than solid cornerbacks, and here's why. A solid pass rush, if you can get to the quarterback, pin your ears back, get to the quarterback, it makes life easier on the second level and the third level. So not just the secondary, but also the second level backers when they recover their deep thirds or deep, whatever zone coverage, curl hook route, curl flat route, whatever the case may be, whatever coverage they're in, it makes life easier on the back end, period. So with that being said, it's much easier to solidify the defensive line first, then getting some of these shutdown cornerbacks. Because eventually, if you're playing in a shutdown cornerback position, odds are the receiver's going to get open if there's no pass rush. Because at the end of the day, it's like playing a game of flag football. How many alligators is? Oh, it's 8 alligators. Okay, 1 alligator, 2 alligator, 3 alligator, 4 alligator, 5 alligator, 6 alligator, 7 alligator, 8 alligator. And let's say you have Joe Smo, who can't rush the passer, running, and he can't run very fast because the dual threat quarterback is just running circles around him, still looking with his eyes downfield. Eventually, that receiver is going to get open. Now, if you do the reverse on that and you have a strong pass rush and you count 8 alligators, and now the pressure's in your face, and those cornerbacks are still on the hip of the receiver, maybe not giving up tight window opportunities as otherwise like a true shutdown cornerback, it makes the opportunity for that catch to be even harder at the catch point because of the fact that the pass rush is in your face. They're closing up the passing windows. They're making life extremely difficult for the wide receiver to get open because, again, now you're disrupting the timing route. The quarterback will have to throw off platform in some way, shape, or form. And when you do that, it can cause turnovers. It can cause pass breakups. It can cause a lot of problems for the offense. So that's why I say a pass rush is always number one, in my opinion, because how you win NFL football, and I don't care how the rules are dictated, you win by solidifying lines on both sides. So if I was a GM, I'd solidify the offensive line first, which happens to be the Niners' problem, and then the defensive line, right? So you want to solidify both lines first, and then the rest will follow. Build teams from the inside out, not the outside in. 49ers Life 415 says, what's good, Brody? Let's go Niners. What's going on, 49ers Life 415? Glad to see you here in the BEASTwriter family. Chris McCormick says, do you think Sherman should and would consider converting to a safety? He has the intelligence but lacks the mobility now. Hi, Chris. Thank you so much for your question. I don't think he has a choice. I think if there's someone that says, hey, look, we're not looking for a boundary cornerback, but would you consider moving to free safety? And he's going to be like, okay, well, how much are you going to pay me now? Because odds are a shutdown cornerback gets paid a lot higher than a free safety. And if I'm going to take a pay cut and now you're looking at this as a demotion, so to speak, because let's be honest, true shutdown cornerbacks get paid a lot more than a true safety. Well, I take that back because there's Buda Baker and then Minka Fitzpatrick's coming up. But in most cases, true shutdown corner money, they don't grow on trees. And so if we're going to try to make that conversion, you better have what it takes. And I think that Sherman's going to be exposed being the single high safety in any defensive front, because at the end of the day, you have to have the speed to stay stride for stride. Now, he is intelligent to leverage his splits how he sees fit in his pre-snap recognition based on down and distance. But is that going to be enough? I'm not so sure. I am not so sure, guys. This is a live stream. If you guys want to hop on, there's the call in to go ahead and do so. Actually, no, that is not the right call. Oh, yeah, that is the right call in. So please be sure to hop on the live stream and we can go ahead and get started on that. And we can go ahead and talk football. Drew Bro says, Beast, who do you think will win the third receiver position on the 53-man roster to replace Bourne? That's a good question. That's a very, very good question. With Kendrick Bourne now off to the New England Patriots with Nelson Aguilar, it's really open. You have Brandon Ayuk, you have Deebo Samuel, and obviously you have everyone in between. Obviously, Jawan Jennings is still there, right? What's going to go on with Jawan Jennings? Well, let's look at what they have right now. Obviously, we all know that Trent Taylor's no longer on the team. The fourth-round pick that the Niners often fell in love with at Louisiana Tech University. But they have Richie James. They have Mohamed Sanu. The wild card for me is Jalen Hurd. Can that guy return to health? Because if it's Jalen Hurd and he's healthy, it's his for the taking. And he will definitely add a different dimension to that offense. Now, if Jalen Hurd's unable to be healthy, because let's face it, he hasn't been yet, you're going to have to look at a guy like Mohamed Sanu because he is a veteran. And there's a reason why they brought him back, right? That experiment failed last year. That experiment going to fail this year? I don't know. But I don't think Mohamed Sanu would sign with the San Francisco 49ers if he wasn't guaranteed at least a roster spot. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Nothing is confirmed on that. But I think it's going to come down to Mohamed Sanu or even Richie James. I don't know. I think it's going to come down to one of those two guys. If Jalen Hurd is not healthy, because he is unhealthy. That makes sense? That makes sense. AJC 4949 says, besides Deebo and Ayuk, who else fill out the wide receiver room? Just pointed that out there. Charles says, keep up the great work. Always enjoy your perspectives. Thank you so much, Charles, and Mahalo for the love and support from the Carolina Panthers Keep Pounding fan base. Thank you so much, my man. Appreciate you. Tony Nagatani says, Najee going to be picked up in the first 2 rounds. He is really good. Plus, Steeler Nation is so large that fan bias will kick in. Yeah. I'm telling you, Najee Harris is the real deal. I told you guys he's my draft crush since day one. On my big board, he was actually ranked inside the top 10. In fact, I had him as high as number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Najee Harris is going to be a monster. Najee Harris is going to be a monster, in my opinion. I think the AFC North just got a whole lot better with the Pittsburgh Steelers landing Najee Harris and bringing back that throwback ground and pound smash mouth running style. Eric Flores says, watch the Von Enrichs on Dark Side of the Ring. Okay, I guess I have to watch that one now. Thank you so much, Eric. I'll have to watch that. Vaughn Eric's on Dark Side of the Ring. I'll go ahead and look at that after hopping on these live streams. 49ers Lifers, 49er Lifers 415 says, where we got here? My boy about to eat like 11 touchdowns. That is true. Bosa is about to eat. Yes. Mr. TNA from Romania says, from the unsigned players, who would you want the Niners sign the most? That's kind of a loaded question. I mean, as of right now, there's not someone that's really irking my interest right now. So I don't know. The roster's pretty much set. I mean, if you look at the roster, pretty much set in terms of the draft picks, the free agent makeups that they made, the free agent losses, the guys that they picked up. I mean, if we go off the roster, I mean, unsigned, geez, I mean, if we're to look at it, here I am looking at the roster. I'm just like, I mean, I think it's safe to say we all know that Tony Jefferson is likely going to make it, obviously. But I mean, like, yeah, it's pretty much, maybe Maurice Hurst. But all these guys are signed, obviously. But yeah, I think these guys are like borderline players that might make the team, right? So you got guys like Arden Key. Arden Key could be a huge pass rush boost to that offense, to that defense. I like Arden Key. Keep an eye on Key. He may be the key. Keep an eye on Jordan Willis. I really like Jordan Willis. I actually put a YouTube podcast on that when the 49ers got him. And you guys can go ahead and look at that. Just type in BEASTwriter and type in the guy that you want to hear about, and that would be Jordan Willis. I spoke about that in real time, and people are like, who is Jordan Willis, Beast? And I broke it down brick by brick, and you're going to want to stay tuned and watch that one before hopping on the live stream at 12:30 p.m. with Connie Carberg, because there's a lot of parallels there from a scouting perspective as to why I said he was going to be good, especially in the pass rush department. John Zach said, I did a mock draft and had Derrick Henry and Najee Harris with DJ Moore and Mahomes. Was pretty set. Wow, that's a pretty legit right there. Mahalo for the love for us ultimate report. If you guys like the work, like the channel, like the BEASTwriter movement, we are striving to push here on YouTube. Consider sending me a super chat. I consider wanting to do this full time. So this obviously helps with the giveaways, with the graphics, with the HD videos that I'm able to post and so forth. So thank you and mahalo for the love and support. He says, shout out, Beast. Keep up the grind. Can't wait for your next guest on your live stream. Yes. And that would be Connie Carberg, the first female NFL scout in NFL history. Look her up. Google her. She's on Wikipedia. Connie Carberg legit is going to hop on the BEASTwriter Family show, and she will be talking scouting process. She'll be talking about her rise as the first female NFL scout. Breaking barriers, being the first female NFL scout in a predominantly male society. We're going to talk about all that. It's going to be unfiltered and straight beast. I love it. I love it. Tonya Nagatani, thank you so much. Mahalo Mondays. Yes, this is hashtag Mahalo Mondays. And again, thank you so much for your super sticker, super chat. I love the support that I've been getting here on the YouTube channel. It's nothing but good vibes only. And again, I want to do this full time, and these super chats definitely help. So there's no, if you want to support it, please do so. Also, just engaging actually helps too. So engage with us, and you can go ahead and possibly win the BEASTwriter Family giveaway just by engaging with us. That's all I ask. Tommy Huxley, but yes, the super chats definitely help as well. Tommy Huxley says, can Ebukam, gosh, I can't even say his name. Can Samson Ebukam replace D Ford's speed? Can Kinlaw become a great pass rusher? And getting to your first question, can Ebukam replace D Ford's speed? I don't think so. I think D Ford has just a different get off. However, is he going to be able to replicate that type of pass rush production? I think he can be. Get into Kinlaw. Will he become a great pass rusher? Time will tell. I said that he's going to have 5 to 9, possibly even 5 to 10 sacks this year. So yes, to answer the second part of your question, Kinlaw is going to eat. He's going to put up 5 to 10 sacks. No one is putting that out there. Who else is putting that out there? That's why you guys follow me for our predictions, spot on predictions. And again, here we are on June 14th. We haven't hit mandatory training camp yet. And I'm already putting this out there that if healthy, Javon Kinlaw is going to put up 5 to 10 sacks. I am his biggest inspiration. I know Javon Kinlaw. I know you watch this because obviously your relatives follow me on this show and you asked me for my insight on about you. And again, you're going to eat. So prove me right. I like being right. Robert Watson says, Tommy Huxley, Robert Watson says, sorry, sup, BEASTwriter Family, what's up, Beast? What's going on, and how are you doing? AJC49, why hasn't Malik Hooker signed? Injury prone, but like his talent, could be good depth. Yeah, you just hit it on the nail, right? He's injury prone. So what type of GM wants to take on that risk? I don't know, man. I don't know. Not very many GMs want to take on risks for players who are injury prone, especially during COVID year, during the pandemic, with things changing. Muscle memory plays a role. We talked about that earlier. Mr. Tinier, 2005, quarterback position is the most important in NFL, but many teams do not focus on having good backups and quarterback 3, which is crazy. Yes, it is. It is but oftentimes it's like this. How many backup quarterbacks actually make it to a Super Bowl if you have a Super Bowl caliber team? Now it happens. You saw it with Tom Brady, so it happens. When Drew Bledsoe went down, got hit along the sideline, Tom Brady comes in, they ultimately win that Super Bowl. So it does happen. Not saying it doesn't happen. Obviously saw it with Nick Foles, right? With Carson Wentz. We see it. So it does happen. But how often does it happen? I mean, you have to weigh the risk versus reward. It is very important because Phil Simms always says that in terms of the best position on the football field is the quarterback, and the second best position on the football team is the backup quarterback. And I would have to agree with that, because if you have a good backup quarterback, there can be little to no drop off in production because you can pick up where you left off. That's why having a guy like Alex Smith or having some type of a backup like Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's a solid backup. Now, is he going to win you a Super Bowl? I don't know. He hasn't done it yet. But Ryan Fitzpatrick is very, very savvy. He can be an instant plug and play, can win you 5 to 7 games, and really put on some type of a stretch here where you're looking at him like, dang, can this guy actually do it? Right? Can this guy actually do it? So, yeah, it's really interesting, Mr. TNA, that the backup quarterback position is not as valued or highly valued as some would think. Chris McCormick says, I think Debo and Ayuk were upset when Sanu was cut last season too. Maybe he's going to be a death piece and veteran presence for the younger guys. I think that's exactly the play. Thank you so much, Chris McCormick from the BEASTwriter family. Tony Nagatani says, if I were Sherman, I would sign for a veteran minimum base salary with incentives for games played and interceptions, with huge escalators if you were to have 7 or more interceptions. Yeah, I agree with you, Tony. The problem with that is Richard Sherman is a household name. He's a smart guy. He's going to want that guarantee because he knows he's not going to get 7 interceptions or more. He knows he can't hit those escalators. So if he signs for the base minimum salary, you're setting a little bar, but setting the bar low, but then betting on yourself. But under the system, you have to remember, if he's not getting those opportunities under the system that he's in, then there's no point in having those escalators in his contract. So again, Sherman's a smart guy. He needs to go in a prime location opportunity for him to look at this and be like, okay, if I'm going to eat and get paid, like Tony Nagatani says here, I want to go to a scheme that will actually showcase my skill set, right? Puts me in the best position to make plays to where I can hit these incentives. Now, if he's here for 34% of the time or just here on passing downs, now you're looking at it and being like, there's no way I'm going to get 7 interceptions because the opportunities are slim to none. How many targets am I actually going to see? And how many of these quarterbacks that I'm facing are actually going to make bad throws? And are they even going to throw to my side? So I would agree with that. That should be Sherman's line of thinking. But ultimately, I think Sherman's smart enough to know, like, dude, like, I want to get paid because my past has proven it. If you look at all the stuff that he tweets and retweets, it's all stuff from the past. Like, I'm a X amount Pro Bowl player. I'm X amount All Pro. I've been targeted this amount. That's fine. That's fine. But that's your resume. That's the past. Let's look at the production from the last 2 years and then go from there. Because NFL stands for not for long, right? It's not and it's always about what have you done for me lately, right? In the NFL. Mr. Tine, but good analysis from my man, Tony Nagatani. Beast, says, remember this, the Eagles DC will be a head coach in the NFL in 3 years. All right. You heard it here first from Romania. Shay Leffler says, hey, dude, what's up with Sherman? Man, I don't know, man. Hasn't been signed. For our lifer 415, BEASTwriter Family says, sorry, Washington football team has the best D-line in the NFC East. I would agree with that. I think that Chase Young, who got my vote for first team All-Pro, because as you guys know, I'm a member of the Pro Football Writers Association, so I have year-end voting rights. Chase Young was my vote as a first team All-Pro. And again, I ran my grading system. I have my own grading system. I don't rely on PFF. But Chase Young was a beast. You also have Daron Payne there. There's a lot of first-round picks. Jonathan Allen, another first-round pick. They're from Alabama. So there's a lot of guys on that defensive line, and arguably the best defensive line in the entire NFL. In fact, that defensive front seven now, right? With Jamin Davis there, their first round pick, they're going to be eating. They're going to be eating. They're going to play fast. They're going to play tough. They're going to play aggressive. They're going to play physical. And this is a staple of Riverboat Ron's scheme, right? He likes those type of players, guys that can do a multitude of different things, can mix it up. And again, I said it once and I'll say it twice. Jack Del Rio is a great, great defensive mind. Now, you guys remember Jack Del Rio from his time with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Remember, he had all those Byron Leftwich. If you guys remember Byron Leftwich, he was the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars all the years. He's a great defensive corner. That guy's a beast. The guy's a beast and beast approved. Mr. Chianye says, people underestimate so much for the Eagles in the NFC East. If healthy, they are better in the trenches than Washington football team, New York Giants, and Dallas. All right. 49 Lifer says, football is won in the trenches, so take pass rush. Yes, I agree with that. The rules nowadays have devalued cornerback position, in my opinion. I would agree with that as well. Chris McCormick says, even the best corners can and will be beat. If the play is long enough, pass rush all the way. Yep, pass rush all the way. Pass rush all the way. Claudia Billick says, time for BEASTwriter to be head trainer for the 49ers. Ever since, this always happens. Anytime strength and conditioning coach is on the hot seat, my name's always being brought up. Always, 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 always. Ever since I became a beat writer, that would be fun to be the strength and conditioning coach of the 49ers. I would push those guys. I would grind those guys. They would look like beasts just like me. And when you have 53 beasts on the field, man, and it translates onto the football field in terms of wins, man, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. All right, let's get to some of your questions. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. All right, what else we got here? My man Joel Figueroa says, yo, Ryan, what's up? I don't think we need Richard Sherman back here. We need an experienced vet cornerback who can groom our rookie defensive backs into good one, elite cornerbacks. Yeah, cornerback position is of the utmost importance. What do you guys think of Ambry Thomas? You guys think he can get it? I don't know. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We have some other stuff going on. If you guys haven't heard the news, Le'Veon Bell, I'm just going to pull it up right here. Le'Veon Bell roasted. I shouldn't say roasted. Well, kind of took a shot at Coach Andy Reid. He literally said he'd retire before playing for head coach Andy Reid ever again. Literally, that's what he said. Not those exact words, but this is what he said. He said, and he doesn't regret it. He doesn't regret what he said. He actually tweeted and said, I said what I said. This is I quote, I said what I said, and I don't regret at all what I said. For those who have a personal problem with me because of what I said, that's fine. You have your right. Just understand, I also have my right for how I feel about my personal problem with dude because of what he said to me. Bell didn't elaborate. This is from ESPN, an article written by ESPN. Bell didn't elaborate on what Reid said to him that led him to post on Instagram earlier. I'd never play for Andy Reid again. I'd retire first. Yes, that's what Le'Veon Bell said, and he posted it on Instagram. I said, I'd never play for Andy Reid again. ... I'd retire first. I'm not about to get all into depth on why I feel that way, the way I do, but I have my right to feel the way I feel. The only thing I would change is commenting how I really felt on social media. Bell tweeted. So you can love me or hate me. I'm going to be fine regardless. I'm just giving you a small version from my point of view on why I said what I said. Okay. Bell said otherwise he enjoyed his one season with the Chiefs in 2020. He played in 9 games, starting 2 of them, and rushed for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns. His role diminished late in the campaign, and he didn't play in either the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. Never did I, here's a quote Bell wrote, never did I say I didn't enjoy my time in KC because I loved my time there and was probably the closest locker room full of players I ever been around. I enjoyed my teammates, the city, the food, the fans, just about everything in KC. He just didn't like Andy Reid. Interesting to point that out. Stephen Cole from the BEASTwriter Family here on YouTube from the Tennessee Titans fan base. Stephen Carosio says, yeah, Tennessee Titans offense is elite. It is elite. I will agree with that. I think the Titans offense is elite. Anytime you have Derrick Henry, who's the best running back in all of football, you can play against a stack box. He'll also gush you for 2,000 yards in the season. And now you have Julio Jones, a first ballot Hall of Fame and first team All-Pro, if healthy this year, team up with A.J. Brown. That's now 2,000-yard receivers like the Seattle Seahawks have with DK Metcalf and, of course, Tyler Lockett. Now you have some real weapons that you can work with, right? You lose Jonnu Smith, you pick up Julio Jones as the pass catcher. It's a win-win. It's a win for the Titans. It's a win for the Titans. All right, Tommy Huxley says, when is Tom Brady going to retire? That's a great question. I don't know. Who knows? Who says? Fortnite's Ultra Report says, I set my reminder for the Connie Carberg interview. Beast always has a great guest. Yeah, if you guys want to do that and you want to stay up to date on all things Beast, please set your reminders, turn on the bell notifications on your most social media platforms that you're on, or devices that you're on, whether it's your iPhone, whether it's your Android, whether it's on your tablet, whether it's on your laptop, computer, whatever. Just be sure that on the app, you turn on the bell notification so you get notified. All right. Here we go. Joel Figueroa says, I heard Le'Veon Bell took shots at Andy Reid. It seems like he beefed with Andy Reid. Yeah, that's not good. Anytime you beef with Andy Reid, that's not good. Andy Reid is very well respected, very well loved, and very well everything. I mean, what can you say that Andy Reid is not good at? He's a winner. I mean, look at in his first Super Bowl where he beat the San Francisco 49ers, right? I know it stings, but let's face it. Everyone was rooting for Andy Reid because that's just the guy he is. And the players love him. The coaches love him. His own coaching staff loves him. His peers love him. So how can you not love the guy? All I heard, nothing but great things from Andy Reid regarding Andy Reid. John Zach says, Ruben, I like his dad's old school takes as a writer and his boxing takes. Ruben Alderette says, back in my college day, gas would only cost a nickel. That's true. CJ Richard Sports says, hey, BEASTwriter, what's going on? CJ Richard Sports, how you doing? CJ Richard Sports says, Andy Reid hard to dislike in the NFL. Yeah, it's hard to dislike the guy in the NFL. And again, people I spoke with in my circle all echo the same thing. It's crazy. John Zach, nice try trying to be funny, Ruben. Didn't work. JT Conlon says, highlight of my week, the Chinese buffet down the street opened back up. Looking forward to the endless crawfish. JT Conlon, my man from the BEASTwriter Family. Crawfish is good, but it's just terrible. I cannot. I mean, you only get a little piece of meat out of it. I get annoyed. I get annoyed eating crawfish. Someone has to open that thing up for me because I ain't going to do it. It's too much work. David Royce from Facebook says, Andy Reid didn't win that Super Bowl. Russ missed huge calls. I would say Andy Reid definitely had a big hand in winning that Super Bowl. Joel Figueroa says, yeah, Andy Reid is a good head coach. He always gets respect from his players and coaching staff. That is true. Tony Lewis from the BEASTwriter Family says, what's up? JT Collins says, crawfish is a Southern thing. It really is a Southern thing. And I love crawfish. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't like crawfish. I just don't like opening it up. I know there's a skill to it. You have to twist the tail and then you pull. I get that. Just it's a lot of work. All right. So CJ Richard Sports says we'll collaborate soon. Yes, I definitely got your message, and we will definitely collaborate soon as time allows. I mean, we will have to make it work some way somehow. David Royce says, have you heard if Raheem Mostert has an injury now? I have not heard if Raheem Mostert had an injury now. If he has an injury, I don't know about it. Shrimp and crawfish boiled down in the South. Yes, that is very true. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some other things that's going on around the NFL. Le'Veon Bell, where do you think he's going to land? And do you think he's going to return to his all-pro form? I don't think so. I don't think Le'Veon Bell is going to return to his all-pro form. I just don't see it happening. Now, here's another piece of action that we're going to talk about with Connie Carberg at 12:30 p.m. on our live stream, which is just, an hour from now? For those who don't know, Jamison Crowder, the team's leading receiver the past 2 seasons, was possibly going to be released by the New York Jets. He then takes a pay cut and now stays on the team through the 2021 season. Now, what happened was Crowder was due to make a non-guaranteed $10 million base salary for the upcoming season and was in the final year of a 3-year, $28.5 million contract. All right. So what happens? Well, the team, if you guys remember, in the second round got slot wide receiver Elijah Moore. They also got guys like Corey Davis, right? They got a lot of guys on the outside who can really play that wide receiver position. So with Jamison Crowder now on the outside looking in, I think this is his last year in New York. All right. I believe they also got Keelan Cole. Just let me double check on that. But I believe they got Keelan Cole from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he's going to be another depth piece for the team moving forward. Yeah, they got Keelan Cole. How do I remember all this? Well, there you have it. That's why you guys followed me. So, again, Jamison Crowder's here for the upcoming season. He didn't want to be released by the team, obviously, and then having to find somewhere else and then kind of finding his niche this late in the offseason. So he went ahead and said, you know what, I'll take a pay cut. I'll be on the team. He's probably going to be, betting on himself in a contract year, obviously. But you have Elijah Moore there. You have Keelan Cole there, and now you have Corey Davis there. So what was once a weakness just a year ago with the New York Jets is now turning into a strength. So Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas doing great things there up in New York. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. Here we go. We got a lot of comments here. All right. Let's see. See, Ruthless Boy says, you got a haircut or hardly show your hair? I just hardly show my hair, or I just always like wearing hats or beanies. I wouldn't consider this a haircut. I shave my head like this every single day. So not necessarily a haircut. Been like this since day one, A1. John Zach says, crawfish is not enough meat in the crawfish. Yeah, that's very true. Chia Lucha says Bell hold out from the Steelers will really ruin his career, especially with the Jets. It didn't help his cause for the Steelers at all. He proved to be a cancer in the locker room. Yeah, I agree with you on that, my man. I think he was a cancer in that locker room. John Zach says Bell is nothing but a change of pace back. Never be like he was. I don't think he'll play again, to be honest. Ooh, John Zach. Strong words from man John Zach here in the BEASTwriter family. You guys know who John Zach is. He hops on the live stream. I would be honored if some of you guys wanted to hop on the live stream, but I'll be hopping back on with Connie Carberg at 12:30 p.m. to go ahead and talk about that. That will also be another live stream. So we're going to keep 2 live streams hot before I hit my workout today, so we can kind of hit it up and running here on this Monday to start the work week. Joel Figueroa says, I still think we need to address our wide receiver corps, because if someone goes down and the next one falters, we're not that good at the position. I still want us to address the need at that spot. Yeah, but who is that guy? Who's going to be that guy? That's going to be interesting. That is going to be interesting who that guy is. Joel Figueroa says, Jamison Crowder comes to mind. Well, that will be next year. It won't be this year, because Jamison Crowder is ultimately staying in New York now that he basically restructured his contract. David Royce, Jets will still be 4th in the East. Will the Jets be 4th in the East? You have the Miami Dolphins. You have the New England Patriots. Those guys are going to be top dogs. And the AFC East is just stacked. The AFC East is just stacked. Don't sleep on the Miami Dolphins. Don't sleep on the New England Patriots. I'm telling you, those guys, man. Ruben Alderette says Chiefs already got their non-factor running back, Jet McKinnon. Wow, what a diss. If you guys see that Jet McKinnon Instagram post or whatever, I think that was like a live stream or something. It was like I don't know what he was doing, FaceTiming or something. It was something live, and he was asked, "Are you staying with the Niners?" I think Deebo Samuel asked him. He said, "Heck nah," or something like that. I said, "No." Literally just said something like that. I was like, whoa. John Zach says Crowder took more than $10 million a year cut next year. He will be a free agent. Yep, he definitely will be a free agent. All right. CA Sports says D.D. Westbrook, we need to be bringing him in. Alex Faulkner says Brandon Cooks is stuck in Houston. I wouldn't say he's stuck in Houston, but let's look at the financials of his contract. Let's go ahead and look at what the Texans have. I thought he might be traded, to be honest with you, but, you never know. It seems like Brandon Cooks is always on the trading block. And now it's high on Brandon Cooks coming out of Oregon State University. But let's look at Brandon Cooks right now, right? Let's look at Brandon Cooks. Where is Brandon Cooks? Brandon Cooks. All right, so Brandon Cooks, his cap number for the upcoming year is $5.58 million. All right, he has $5 million in dead money, and the cap savings for, I guess, cutting him, well, can't be pre-June 1 because it's already post-June 1. So if you were to cut him, you'd save the team $3 million. But I don't think they're going to get rid of him. I think they're going to keep him on the roster because they don't have much. Houston Texans don't have much right now going for them. So I think if you're Nick Caserio, you're looking at it and being like, we're keeping Brandon Cooks. It's fine. We'll keep him. All right. Tommy Huxley said Jets are trash, but they're on the rise, man. They have Elijah Vera Tucker. They now got Zach Wilson. They got now Michael Carter. They got now Elijah Moore. That's 4 pieces along the offensive line. That's 4 starters right there that I just named off the offensive line in one single draft. So now you got Corey Davis. There's 5. And you got Keelan Cole as a wide receiver 3. Possibly when Jameson Crowder goes out, that's 6. And, Jameson Crowder this year, there's 7. That's a lot of weapons. Now the offensive line is gone to crap. I mean, sure, they have Mekhi Becton, but outside of that and Elijah Vera Tucker, they still need help up front. My opinion. John Zach says, do you like across the chest dumbbell skull crushers for triceps? Skull crushers, I actually prefer a easy curl bar. I actually posted a video of that and actually kicked my legs up to multitask, being as efficient as possible, working out my core and getting a good ab workout as well. And so I posted that on my YouTube. And if you guys want to check that out, you guys can go ahead and do so. Feel free to do so. David Roy says, New England ain't a treat. Cam Newton is done. Yeah, but they still have Mac Jones, and I think Mac Jones is going to be dangerous. Connie Carberg, I want to get her insight on Mac Jones to the New England Patriots. I think that's a perfect fit for Bill Belichick, having Mac Jones as basically the successor to Tom Brady. Cam Newton doesn't count. He's a stopgap. Ruben Allred says he's just like Le'Veon Bell. Roy's place from the BEASTwriter Family says Richard Sherman lost a step or 2 or 3. I think his play availability showed his desire to play for either the Niners or any other team. When healthy, he was good, but Sherman needed added coverage help. Yeah, I think when he was healthy, he wasn't good. I'm just going to go and say he was. I thought they should have got rid of Richard Sherman the year they traded DeForest Buckner. If they were to do that and listen to me, if I was the GM, again, it's all on Twitter. You guys can go and see the timestamps on it. I said, people are saying, oh, no, we can't re-sign DeForest Buckner. Well, number 1, he was playing on a 5th-year option. Okay. Number 2, you could have got rid of Richard Sherman to fit DeForest Buckner under the cap because he would save the team $12.9 million in cap savings. Roll that money into Buckner's contract, not Eric Armstead, and you would have had Buckner here instead of Armstead. How that would have looked. And that was in real time, not in hindsight. That's why you guys follow me. CJ Ruthless Sports says, I think Dede can improve the receiver depth. Yes, Dede Westbrook could improve the receiver depth. Tommy Huck says, when will Saleh be fired? Wow, you think Saleh's going to not be a good head coach with the New York Jets? That's interesting. Wow, John Zach says, give him 3 years, Tommy, and let's see. David Royce says, from Facebook, Houston will have the number 1 pick in 2022. I can see that. I can see Houston having the number 1 pick in 2022. Joel Figueroa says, I'm just hoping our rookie wide receivers can step up this year in case someone goes down. All right. CA Sports says, Austin Watkins got to stand out to make the roster. We'll see what I am seeing from I like what I see from Jawan Jennings. What are you seeing from Jawan Jennings? I'm not seeing anything from Jawan Jennings. What do you see? See, I would love to hear what you have to say, what you like about Jawan Jennings. Since I don't know. I just don't. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it from Jawan Jennings, but would love to hear what you have to say on Jawan Jennings and what you're seeing in practice. David Royce says, Mac Jones, so much hype. His another Jimmy G. Tommy Huxley says, is Mac Jones mad at Cam for calling him mac and cheese? I don't know. I'm not going to touch that one. John Zach says, Buckner over Armstead. Oh, my God. Oh my God, I've loved, but that we lost of Kinlaw. I still like it. David Royce says, the Jets could have Jesus at quarterback and still mess it up. Wow. CA Ruthless Sports says he's playing faster and more better shape according to Grant Cohn. Interesting. I see the same guy. I mean, the body type, I see the same guy. Now, it could be Matt. And again, to each their own, right? To each their own. This is what I'm seeing. All right. Again, fitness and football, this is what I do. So if you're going to talk about a player, especially in minicamp, OTAs, you guys got to remember that they're not hitting, right? They're just in shorts. I want to see how they do in their shells. So while Trent Taylor, all right, take for instance Trent Taylor, he was wowing in OTAs, but when the pads came on, it was a different story, and it translated onto the football field. Are we going to see the same thing with Juwan Jennings? Time will tell. Time will tell. John Zach says, do you see Niners utilizing Dwelly more? He catches everything. Not with George Kittle there. I think George Kittle is going to be the main bread and butter. Dwelly, although he does catch a lot of balls when the ball is coming his way, I don't know. I'm just going to see similar production. I see similar production from Dwelly. David Royce says, Jennings or Hurd will win the third wide receiver. Both have good hands and the size we need in the red zone. This is the year they stay healthy. David Royce, I like your optimism. Optimism. CA Blue Sports says, didn't mean to clown you, Tommy. I'm not sure how long Solo will be around. It's all good, bro. CA Ruthless Sports, are you causing trouble? No, I'm joking. CA Ruthless Sports has never causes trouble. He's all about good vibes only here in the BEASTwriter family. I don't know what's going to go on with the wide receiver position, but something needs to be done, because if those wide receivers do go down, then Deebo Samuel can't stay healthy. If Brandon Ayuk can't stay healthy, they're in trouble. And their Super Bowl aspirations or playoff aspirations just got a whole lot harder. There's now going to be undue pressure on George Kittle running down the seams. There's going to be teams that are focusing on George Kittle, running the high-low combination in terms of coverage. There can possibly do a box coverage, so to speak, right? A 2x1 box coverage. There's a lot of different things you can kind of line up and dictate leverage, splits, how you see fit. If you don't have any outside presence between the 20s, it's going to be interesting because, again, the depth that the 49ers have is all for naught. They need depth there. They need depth there. All right, so let's see what else we got here, guys. Roy's Place says, what's your take on picking up Frank Gore for this upcoming season? I think it's a good move. Heck, the Niners keep losing running backs yearly. Wilson, I know Gore is older, but yet he's conditioned. Yes, I like Frank Gore. However, for the zone blocking scheme, he's not a good fit for this offense. He's not a good fit for this offense. That's not saying that Frank Gore is not a good back. I mean, but he's more tailored for a power-based run scheme. So while I do believe that Frank Gore would add some type of dimension in terms of being a leader and being a mentor to the younger guys and actually being productive, he might put up 400 or 500 rushing yards, but he's not going to be that 1,000-yard back, because in the zone blocking scheme, again, Frank Gore is a one-cut back, right? He's more of a one-cut back. He's very patient. He's a patient runner, but he's not tailored for that zone blocking speed. He doesn't have the speed to get outside on those outside zone runs. So I'm going to say pass on Frank Gore simply because he's not a scheme fit like he was under Harbaugh in that power-based run scheme that Graham Roman liked to run. Tommy Huxley says, CG, you didn't, I just don't have any faith in that organization. All right, so let's see what we got here. David Royce says, not sure why people are freaking out about 49ers wide receivers. We are fine. I like David Royce's optimism. David Royce, I love your optimism. I would love to hop on the show, man. I would like to talk to you about your optimism, because I wish everyone was as optimistic as David Royce. I am not. I just don't see it. Now, optimism is a good thing, but I don't know. Kittle needs to be more as a target and less as a blocker. In that zone blocking scheme, you need George Kittle to block up front, to open up the passing game. So I think you need him in both, in my opinion, David Royce. But I would love to see George Kittle be more involved as a pass catcher. Good things happen when the ball's in his hands. John Zach says, I'm worried about our wide receiver and quarterback health and depth. Harvey from the BEASTwriter family says, what's going on with Le'Veon Bell hating on Andy Reid? I know. You're just joining us. He said that he'd rather retire than play for Andy Reid. Those are some harsh words, man. David Roy says Gore will retire before September. Braden Springer, if Gore retires before September, he's going to sign a one-day contract. And he will be signed by the 49ers and retire as a 49er, going to the Hall of Fame, and they're going to retire his number 21. I thought they should have retired Bryant Young's number 97. Legit, Bryant Young is one of the most underrated players. No diss to Nick Bosa, who also wears number 97, but I thought that the Niners should have retired Bryant Young's number 97. Why they didn't do it, I don't know. Braden Springer says, what do you expect from Brandon Ayuk in year 2? Brandon Ayuk can possibly be a Pro Bowler this year. Pro Bowl alternate. I'm going to say Brandon Ayuk is going to be a Pro Bowl alternate this year. Not going to make the Pro Bowl outright, but he will be a Pro Bowl alternate this year. So look for Brandon Ayuk to put up really good numbers this year. If all goes well and that offensive line can block up front. John Zach says Gore will be a day one signing to retire. Yes, exactly. David Roy says, I'll jump on sometime if you do live streams in the afternoon. I work early. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm doing a live stream today at 12:30 p.m., so you can hop on then. I'll provide the stream code for you guys to go ahead and do that with Connie Carberg, the first female NFL scout. CA Blue Sports says, I am intrigued by Trey Sermon. He is a different type of running back. He kind of like an Arian Foster / D'Amico Murray. Wow. Arian Foster / D'Amico Murray. Like I said, since day one, I like the Trey Sermon. If you watch my analysis on that, I said he is obviously going to be in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year. If he gets the lion's share of the reps, he's obviously going to go over 1,000 yards from scrimmage. I said this on all my earlier live streams. You can go back and watch them. They still hold up today. Here we sit at June 14th. And a lot of people agree with me, like CJ Blue Sports. Davis Royce says, Niners should retire number 81. Teal was the man. Yeah, they should retire number 81. Teal was the man. I agree with you on that. Difference maker. Say what you want. Love him, but hate him. But he was still going to shine. The guy was a beast. He was a monster beast to prove. The guy was absolutely deathly in red zone efficiency. Teal was just no better wide receiver that suited up for the San Francisco 49ers since Jerry Rice retired. Just going to put it at that. Philip Bratt says, Bryant Young was a beast. He really was. Bryant Young was definitely a beast. Break Davis from the BEASTwriter Family says, all this talk about the Niners not having depth at wide receiver on a third one is all BS. Kyle and John didn't draft or sign free agents for a reason. We'll be good at wide receiver. This is the year we stay healthy. All right. Break Davis from the BEASTwriter Family says, you know what? All you guys, including myself, it's BS because we have the wide receiver depth that we have on our roster, and I'm confident in Jawan Jennings and Richie James to get it done. Well, if you look at wide receiver threes across the league, I would beg to differ. I would definitely beg to differ because, again, in today's NFL, you need a trio of wide receivers, and let's just stick with the NFC West, all right? I'm not going to go and dive into every team. I could do that since I cover all 32. So if you want me to do that, we can do comparable rankings on the trio of wide receivers, but just sticking off the top of my head, look at the LA Rams. They have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, and they also now have who? Tutu Atwell, right? Oh, don't forget Deshaun Jackson. That's 4, right? Seattle Seahawks, who did they have? Oh, all they have is 2,000-yard receivers. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and now who they have in the second round? Dwayne Eskridge, okay? Oh, let's look at the Arizona Cardinals. Who they have? The best wide receiver in the NFL, arguably, in DeAndre Hopkins. They now got A.J. Green. They also have Larry Fitzgerald. And now who do they have in the second round? Rondale Moore. So that's 4. And who do the Niners have? Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. And who's the third one? Well, most teams have 4. They're still fighting for that third spot. So I would beg to differ because, again, the wide receiver at 3, the wide receiver through whoever that is, there's no guarantee right now. Whereas the other team, that's already pretty much set in stone. So, and that's just sticking with the NFC West off the top of my head. So I would say it's not BS, but again, it's a healthy discussion that we can have. But no, it is definitely a pressing concern because if Brandon Ayuk goes down, if Deebo Samuel goes down, now the offense is now diminished. The playbook is now diminished. Now teams can now focus on how they see fit because they know there's no offensive weapons worthy that's going to scare opposing defenses from running their scheme in attack mode. That's just my opinion. John Zach, time will tell. John Zach says Sermon will outtouch Mostert. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that I would agree with you, John Zach. I think Sermon will outtouch Mostert, and I feel like Trey Sermon is going to be the focal point back. If you guys remember, there was a time during the down years with the 49ers when they had Kevin Barlow, right? And Kevin Barlow was the guy that was getting less touches, but he's putting up just as good, if not better numbers, right? And with Kevin Barlow there, gosh, Kevin Barlow going back, he didn't wear gloves. He was like, no hands. But Kevin Barlow was one of those guys that you saw the talent around him, and he just got the touches because in limited touches he made plays. So I think similar scenario is going to play out with Trey Sermon. I don't know how that's going to play out or when it's going to play out, what week it will be, but ultimately Trey Sermon's going to be too good to be left off the field. He's going to get the lion's share of the reps, and you guys are going to see why. Stating it here first here in the BEASTwriter family. Break Davis says, why are you comparing the Niners to other teams' rosters? That has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Well, Break Davis, actually, it does hold a lot of value. Again, I would love to talk to you about this on the discussion. Why compare the Niners to other teams' rosters? Because that's what you do. That's called analytics. So why would you not, again, I keep saying it on all my live streams, if you're going to just talk about the team that you're on or the team that you root for, how can you compare that they're going to be okay based on what's your competitive advantages going against the competition? You have to know what your competition is doing. Otherwise, how do you know how good you're going to do? Right? So at the end of the day, it does hold weight. Actually, it holds a lot of weight. For you not to compare what your team is doing to the other teams, you're doing yourself a disservice because now you're not knowledgeable in exactly what's going on or on all 32. That's just my opinion. Prove me wrong. We'd love to talk to you, Break Davis, on the BEASTwriter family, and we can have a healthy discussion about it. But ultimately, I think knowledge is power, and the more knowledge you have, the better off you will be. John Zach here in the BEASTwriter family says, I hope Niners aren't banking on Hurts' health. I hope not, too. I agree with you, John Zach. And it's just interesting how, again, it is what it is. If you guys say that, the 49ers are okay not having a wide receiver 3, that's all I got to say about that. Okay. Tommy Huxley says Sunday sermons will be wide receiver religious experiences. Oh, my gosh. Tommy Huxley needs to hop on the show. That's what Tommy Huxley needs to do. Yeah, we can talk about all 32 NFL teams because that's what we do here in the BEASTwriter family. Again, you don't want to be on a channel where you're not discussing all 32 because, again, then you have nothing to compare to. And exactly what parameters are you looking at when you say, oh, I'm not worried about the wide receiver 3 position because we have, and then they start naming people off a roster. Hey, we can play the roster name game all the time. We can play the roster name game all the time. We can just do it right now. Let's just name people on the roster and we'll be okay. It's not how it works. It's not how it works. David Royce says, who has the best offensive line in the NFC West? Who has the best offensive line in the NFC West off the top of my head? Well, let's look at it, right? Let's go ahead and pull up the depth charts of those teams. Obviously, off the top of my head, I liked what the Arizona Cardinals did. They also got one of the top 5 offensive centers in the NFL, trading for Las Vegas Raiders offensive center Rodney Hudson. They also got a few pieces there. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, and let's see where they stand. All right. So let's look at the Arizona Cardinals, and then we'll go down the track record as to where I would rank all offensive linemen in the NFC West. All right. So you got DJ Humphries. He's good. Justin Pugh's okay. Rodney Hudson, Brian Walters, Kelvin Benjamin. Okay. So I would say the Arizona Cardinals are decent. They're not the best, but they're decent. They're decent. So if I was to put a grade on it, I'd say, I don't do the plus minus thing. I'd say a grade of gosh, I don't like that right side of the offensive line. I'm going to say a C. I'm going to say average. Seahawks. Okay, now there's a lot of people talking about the Seahawks offensive line and how they're horrible. Not so fast. They did have Damian Lewis back, right? They have Damian Lewis. They also traded for another Las Vegas Raider and I believe Gabe Jackson, right? They have Brandon Shell. He's okay. Ethan Posick is a good center, a very underrated center, and still have Dwayne Brown. So I would have to give him a B. I think the Seahawks have a B. Put them there. Now moving on, which would be the LA Rams. I keep saying St. Louis Rams. I don't know why. St. Louis is just always stuck in my head. Look at the LA Rams. They have Andrew Whitworth is good. David Edwards, Brian Allen. Austin Corbett's good. Robert, I'd say a B for the LA Rams. Again, I almost said St. Louis Rams. And then the Niners, right? Trent Williams, winner. Laken Tomlinson, solid. Alex Mack, good. Daniel Brunskill. And then they have Mike McGlinchey. So I'd give him a B. I think all offensive lines are B outside of the Arizona Cardinals. So not bad. Tommy Huxley is in here. Tommy Huxley, are you in here, my man? How are you?
What's up?
What's going on, bro? How you been?
Not much.
So do you think that when we compare a wide receiver 3 to other NFL teams that it's warranted?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just don't understand why people get on the defensive when I say it's not. Or when I say it is, like you do need to compare them.
Absolutely.
Why? Tell me why. I mean, it's just your opinion, but why do you think it's important here in the BEASTwriter family to know what's going on with all 32 NFL teams?
Well, we need to know what our competition is. How do we compare? Are they physical? Are they fast? The contested catches. How the separation is.
Right. It's just interesting that
like we compare him to the Seahawks all the time. It's like, dude, do we have someone like DK Metcalf?
There you go.
Do we need someone like DK Metcalf? We should have drafted him anyway. That's what I think. But if we didn't draft him, then we wouldn't have had Debo, huh?
I believe so. Yes. Yes, that's correct. But yeah, no. What's on your mind, man, here on this Mahalo Monday?
Well, I guess since I was talking about to Grant about it on Sunday about the defensive line, if we're able to capture lightning in a bottle like they did 2019, I'm skeptical about it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you feel about it.
The defensive line?
Yeah, because 2019 was ridiculous.
They're not going to replicate 2019.
Yeah, it's impossible.
It's near impossible. I want to say it's ultimately, but yeah, I would leave some room there. But it is very difficult. That defensive line was eating at the buffet.
Yeah. The Vegas buffet, man.
It really was the Vegas buffet. And you can't say it wasn't. I think the defense line is going to be hurting. I think anytime you lose Saleh, your defensive play caller, your leader of the defense, DeMeco Ryans, what I'm told, is going to want to put his stamp on the scheme. So there's going to be some wrinkles in that scheme. He's going to do what I was told. He's going to do a lot more blitzing. So Fred Warner's going to be doing a lot more blitzing. They're going to be bringing pressure from all different shapes and sizes and forms, especially from the second-level backers. The second-level backers are going to be blitzing more so than any other team that Saleh has coached in years past. So keep an eye on for that. And again, that's what I'm hearing today. Keep an eye on for that, because I think what's going to happen is, again, DeMeco Ryans likes blitzing his linebackers. No one's going to I don't know if it's been reported yet, but that's what I'm hearing. We're going to have to see how that plays out.
I wonder who's going to be, because we did see Fred Warner blitz on that Seahawks game, the second one.
Yeah. In that second, see?
Yeah.
See?
But I don't know. He's so good in coverage, though. So I'm not sure. Maybe.
You know why? Because look at what Bobby Wagner does. He blitzes a lot. More so than Fred Warner.
That's true. Same with Jamal Adams, too.
Same with Jamal Adams, who's a strong safety. They bring him in the box. So, again, they're going to be an attacking and aggressive D. So that's why you're going to see that strong safety. Hope for a speedy recovery for Tarvarius Moore, but where there's Shaquille Tart, he's going to be doing a lot of blitzing, right? He's going to be there in run support. They're going to bring a lot of pressure up front. I'm telling you right now, they're probably going to be blitzing more than any other NFL. Top 5 probably in blitzing. I'm just going to put the top 5 this year in blitzing.
Because then they'll be, because they're more comfortable with their man coverage too for blitzing, or
that could be, or just could be because DeMeco Ryans wants to put a stamp on the defense and say, you know what, we're fast, we're aggressive, we're attacking. Anytime that you see the guy, or more times than not, when they say attacking, they mean blitzing. They mean bringing pressure from all different shapes, sizes, and forms. That's what you're going to see. Some exotic blitzes. You're going to see some defensive linemen possibly drop back in coverage, and that second-level backer take on that role in that A or B, wherever that pressure is coming from. So you're going to see a lot of different things. And when you do that, you confuse the quarterback. And that DeMeco Ryans is a very bright guy. He's not dumb. He's very smart. So he wants to put his stamp. And he's going to do things his way. And I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to bring pressure from everywhere, even cornerback blitzes.
Okay. Well, yeah, because I think K1 does that a lot too. I saw that in the Cardinals game.
Yeah, K1 does it a lot. There's a lot of slot cornerbacks who are now transitioning into that extra run defender mode. You look guys at like Mike Hilton, right? Who was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now he's with the Cincinnati Bengals. He was known to do that. You look at another guy in the NFC, like a guy like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from the New Orleans Saints. Now he's a safety, but he plays that slot cornerback role. He's used much in that role. So these are guys that really like to bring pressure. And if you have the skill set and the personnel to go ahead and do so, you're going to want to amplify that skill set to put these players in the best position to make plays.
I'm just looking at this comment.
What? Of whom?
The goat with the guitars.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Break Davis says, who said we don't need to know about other team squads? I said it has nothing to do with ours.
Mm.
It does have to do with yours because you have to compare what other teams are doing. It's like building a roster. If you don't know what your competition is doing, then what's the point going into the draft if you don't know what those teams in your own division are doing? You have to know what you're doing. I totally disagree with this. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but you're wrong. I really say it, but I mean, it's just, come on. You honestly think you cannot worry about what other teams are doing and just focus on your team and have tunnel vision and be like, I don't care what anyone's team's doing because they don't matter. I don't care if they have DK Metcalf. I don't care if they have Jalen Ramsey. I don't care if they have, whoever. I don't care if they got DeAndre Hopkins.
Mm.
We don't, that's just, come on.
Yeah,
You have to. It's a
I mean,
must.
I don't like other teams, but I'm always watching them.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. That's just my line of thinking. Eric Flores from the BEASTwriter Family says the Beast family needs to get together and tailgate and go watch a game together. I would be down for that.
Hell yeah, baby.
See, so we can actually, I can actually round up the troops and we can actually get that going. If I'm not covering the game myself, that would be fun. Typically, if I do cover a game, I still come out to the tailgates pregame, and then I party with people. I don't drink, obviously, because I'm covering the game, but I do hang out with the guys. Yeah, and that's something I've been doing since day one, so that would be fun. J.R. Meadows from the BEASTwriter Family says, Uncle Sherm time to face it. You can't run with 43. I think he means 43.6 right. I think he means 4-3 wide receivers. Yeah, I agree with you, Junior Meadows. He said speed kills. Got to cover well at that point. I agree with you. Break Dave says, whatever, man. You obviously know more than the Niners front office, players, personnel, and coaches. Shaking my mother, Evan. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I do know. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, look at my timestamps. Look what I had to say. I know a lot. I do know a lot. And that's why I'm here.
That's why we watch you.
That's exactly. And like, not trying to, and credibility is of the utmost importance. And this is not I'm not taking a shot at you, Break Davis. I'm just breaking it down. No pun intended. That you really need to know what's going on with all 32 NFL teams for you to really gauge how your team is doing. How can you say that that's not an issue and that's not going to be something that's not warranted? It is warranted. Why do you watch NFL Network? When you watch ESPN, what are they doing? Who are the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL? What are the team needs heading into the draft? Well, the team needs a lot of times are based on what the other teams in your own division are doing because you play them 6 times a year.
Yeah.
So in order to make a deep playoff run, you have to win your division first to hold seeding position.
We're also concerned whether A-Rod's coming back or not.
Exactly.
I mean, I think he's coming back. Where else is he going to go?
Exactly. And that's all I got to say about that. Where A-Rod's going to go, I don't know. I have no idea.
If he's not there, we're going to destroy. Well, the Niners will destroy Green Bay. But with him there, it's going to be close.
Right.
So
A-Rod's mad. A-Rod's pissed off. I would hate to see him retire. I don't think he's going to retire. You can't retire. There's no way A-Rod can retire. There's no way.
He wants one more ring. I don't know how he's going to get it with Matt LaFleur. I'm not sold on him as a coach. That decision to not go for it in the NFC Championship was really dumb.
Yeah. Roy's Play says more blitzing is a good thing. It will help the front four and the corners with maybe more interceptions. I like that idea. Comparing teams is good. It helps with knowing what you need to compete against. Yeah. Break Davis says, oh my God, dude, you're taking everything out of context. What I'm saying is that the Seahawks wide receivers don't affect our wide receivers. It affects our secondary. Well, if you go back,
that's true.
That is true. But if you go back in the comments, what you
The
said
second part.
was, yes, the first part of that question was you said it, you just literally said it didn't matter. You said you shouldn't compare, and you should compare. You need to compare. And let's take it a step further. I would say you still need to compare the wide receivers on your own team to the wide receivers in who you're competing against, because that's going to dictate exactly what type of personnel groupings are set up, how you're going to play your defense, and exactly if they're going to do that, then you have to think of time of possession, right? Because if there's more wide receivers and that's the strength of a football team, now you're looking at it, is this team that I'm facing 2 years every single year, are they trying to solidify their defense or solidify their team chemistry to where they want to win time of possession ultimately, rather than placing a higher priority on the defensive side of the football? So there's a lot of different things that we can go with. So ultimately, it doesn't matter whether you're comparing wide receiver to wide receiver or wide receiver, you still got to compare. You got to take all aspects and all three phases of the football team, and that includes special teams, because special teams and field position plays an important role too. That's often forgotten.
Don't get me started on the special teams. I mean, I think everybody in the NFC has a better special teams than the 49ers. They were just dreadful last year.
Oh, yeah. Bad. They're bad. Braden Springer says, what would it make sense to run more 2 tight end sets since our wide receiver 3 is not good?
Interesting.
I would. That's an interesting take. Would it be worthy to run more 12 personnel and 22 personnel, which is 1 back, 2 tight end sets, or 2 back, 2 tight end sets, than having 11 personnel, which is 3 wide receivers on the football field? I like that. I like this. Braden Springer brings up a great point. I would actually like to see that 2 tight end sets, because if you remember under the Mike Shanahan days when they went to the Super Bowl, they used a lot of multiple 2 tight end sets, right? They had guys by the name of Brent Jones. Everyone remembers Brent Jones, right?
Everybody knows Brent.
And then who was the other tight end that they had? Gosh, was it Ted Popson? I gotta look it up now. I'm gonna look it up. If I get Ted Popson right, and it's Ted Popson, man, that's how old I am, and I can't believe I remember that. Ted Popson, I believe, was number 85. I believe Ted Popson was number 85. I think he was under that team. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Wow, that's George's number.
It was Ted Popson, number 85. Look at that. It was Ted Popson, number 85, and Brent Jones. Yeah. See, I remember, even as a kid, I had front row seasons. I remember Ted Popson. And him and Brent Jones were on the field a lot. And they had William Floyd and Ricky Waters in the backfield. So that was 22 personnel. I like what Braden Springer is bringing up. I would love to see 2 tight end sets, more so if they can't field a number wide receiver 3, like a Mohamed Sanu, if he's not getting it done. So great point. Yeah, what do you think about the Richard Sherman thing?
Oh, me?
Yeah. What do you think about Richard Sherman?
Oh, man. I think what contender is going to want him?
I don't know.
I mean, he's got great leadership, but like, Grant's dad said, I mean, if you're not doing it on the field, no one's going to want to hear you.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. It's like, you know what? You're not getting it done on the field. Don't even talk to me.
Exactly.
It's like, you can't lead unless by example. So.
Well, that's very true.
But I think he'd be great at safety. That's my opinion.
You think he'd be good at safety? I don't think he'd be good at safety. I don't think he's going to bring that Charles Woodson mentality. No, it's okay. We can have a discussion about it. It's not like, you're right, I'm wrong. Richard Sherman can be the best free safety ever. I don't know. I have no idea. What I do know is speed is a concern on the back end. If you're going to play free safety, you need to have the athleticism to really be able to stay stride for stride, be the last line of defense. If you can't do it with using the sideline as an extra defender, as a boundary cornerback, what makes anyone believe that he can do it in open space when you have more real estate to cover, especially on the back end when you're covering your deep thirds or your deep halves? I just don't see that happening. And I don't know, man. I don't know.
He's a great tackler.
A guy called. Hey, we want to hear music. Do you have your guitar on you?
Oh, shit. I don't know how I'm going to play when I got to hold my phone. I don't know how I'm going to do it without my phone. I got to hold the phone at the same time, and I got my headphone. I mean, shit. I got my YouTube channel. There's a lot of music on there.
Dude, what is your YouTube channel? Tommy
Huxley?
Huxley?
Same as this. Yeah.
The same one as this. Follow Tommy Huxley. and you will listen to his music. And I've listened to your music. It's actually pretty good.
Oh, thank you. Well, I've been playing for like 20 years. I better be good.
Dang, you've been doing it that long?
Yeah.
Wow. Peter Moore says, what is the Niners doing wrong about injuries is because they need to hire Ryan as strength and conditioning coach. Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to be a strength and conditioning coach, but, you know, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of nutrition that goes into it. There's a lot of diet programs. You have to customize every single program according to the player, and everybody metabolizes food differently. Their workouts are a lot different. So that's why when you get why injuries happen, and I'll say this, a lot of the injuries that happen is because you just set the positional unit, like let's say you're taking the offensive line unit or the defensive line unit and you're setting them and say, okay, today we're going to hit squats. You have to do 4 sets of 12, and then you're going to do some kind of mobility exercising, and then they're strengthening your core. Well, not all of these guys are on the same levels when performing these exercises, and that's why these guys get hurt. So if I was to be the strength and conditioning coach of any team, I would take that person on a case-by-case basis. Say, I know you play offensive line, but what you need to do, Peter, is you really need to take it and say, I'm going to do this with this player. I'm going to do this with Aaron Banks. I'm going to do this with Mike McGlinchey, and then we're going to go and roll the dice that way. That's why, Peter, when we talk about this, it plays an important role because, again, you have to customize the program according to the player, not the position. Anyways, that's my take on that. Tommy Huxley, what else is on your mind? I like Chef Tommy. Are you a chef too?
Yeah, I'm a sous chef right now, but I'm not going back to work till August.
Wait, you're a sous chef? Where at?
Oh, I work corporate.
Oh, must
So
be nice.
I work for Epicurean Group. It's kind of like Bon Appetit and.
Oh, dang, dude, what do you make?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to make?
Oh, I can make everything.
Like, what's your favorite?
I used to do Italian all the time, but I learned how to do Mexican. I mean, whatever.
Okay, what's your favorite cut of steak?
Ribeye, man.
Is it really? Okay,
Yeah.
What about the caps? You know the cap steak? You know how like
fat back? Oh yeah.
So
That's
why
pretty
is
good.
that so delicious? In my opinion, I like that more than the ribeye.
Really?
Is that bad? No, yeah, the cap
No,
steak.
they're good. I think it's cheaper. It's hard to find though.
Yeah, I know cap steaks are cheaper, but than ribeye for sure. Ribeye is probably the. Would you say that's better than filet mignon?
Oh, I don't know. I love filet too. It's just so expensive.
I like ribeye more than I like filet mignon because I think the marbleization of the ribeye is much more. I like the fat.
Oh yeah, there's the fat on there, and I like to saute it. I don't like grilling them. I mean, I'll grill, but I love to saute, and then then I throw whole garlic in there, herbs, butter, baste it.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. What else is on your mind before I let you go, man?
Oh, well, maybe next time I'll get this set up where I can have the phone and the guitar in the background ready or something like that.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tommy, for tuning in. I appreciate the love. Mahalo. I'll be hopping on back on the live stream in half an hour with Connie Carberg, the first NFL female scout. So stay tuned for that one. You're not going to want to miss it, man. There's going to be some good stuff on that one.
Yeah, I got to do leg day, but I got to do my leg day workout. But then I'll have my wireless headphones in.
Oh, there you go. That's what's up, man. Well, thank you so much, Tommy, and mahalo for the love and support, man. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Good to see you. I'll see you on the next one.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. That was Tommy Huxley, my man in the BEASTwriter family. Brandon Springer says, from the BEASTwriter family, I wanted to trade up in the second round, draft the wide receiver the Jets drafted besides second string offensive lineman. Imagine our wide receiver would be so much better. All right, guys. Well, that will be it for this BEASTwriter family live stream. I'm going to be hopping on at 12:30 p.m., which is just 30 minutes from right now, with Connie Carberg, the first ever NFL female scout. We're going to talk about the ins and outs of the business from the scouting side. We're going to talk about her rise, what it was like breaking barriers, being the first NFL female scout in a predominantly male society and industry. So stay tuned for that. This was a hot one. We're going to stay hot in 30 minutes. So stay tuned. And thank you so much for subscribing to the BEASTwriter family channel. If you have yet to do so, you can do so in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good day. Mahalo Mondays. BEASTwriter out.